In today's video, we're going to be unboxing and going over my new Firman gas generator. The model number of this particular unit is the P03501. So here we are with my new generator. So you might be asking why I selected this particular generator. For two reasons. It fell into my price range, a gas generator under $500, as I will not be using it on a regular basis. It'll just be as an emergency backup, mainly for my sump pump, but also maybe during extended power failures. As well, size requirement. I didn't need an overly big one, 7,000, 8,000 watt, but I definitely didn't want one on the small side, say 1,000 to 1,500 watt. So as we see with this particular one, in terms of wattage, we have a continual running wattage of 3,550 watts with a starting watt of 4,450. If any of you are confused by these numbers, any electrical appliance that has a motor, when it starts up, pulls much more wattage or amperage than it does when it's continuously running. So let's use that sump pump as an example. When it kicks on for that first time, it's drawing upwards to 8 to 10 amps. However, as it continues to run, that amperage, which is also can be converted to wattage, drops considerably. And that's why this one allows us for an increased starting pull, but for running, we're going to be maintaining 3,550. This particular generator, for those of you that keep in mind where stuff is built, it is built in China. On the box, it does say that it is designed in North America and assembled in North America, but built in China. Let's take a closer look at the box and what comes with it. So here we see our generator. It's our specifications in regards to starting watts and continuous running watts. As well, in this particular kit, we get bonus items. Not sure if they're bonus, they probably come with it anyways, but we do get a cover, a weather cover. We get the wheel kit with the handle, so that way for easy transporting it around your space. The engine is a 208 cc overhead valve. It has a 5-gallon fuel reservoir, fuel tank, and they're specifying that it can run 14 hours. It comes with a funnel and your oil that you need to add to it. Other things to note, well, it has a built-in bottle opener. I guess that's important, maybe if you're hunting with it or fishing. Also to note, it does come, here it says a legendary warranty. We'll see about that if we ever have to use it. It's a 3-year limited warranty that comes with the unit. So let's get ahead and unbox this baby. So here we have the box open. We're going to come with a quick guide, which is going to go over some of the assembly steps, as well as some of the precautions we need to take. Like I said, removing some of these bolts that are put in for transport and how to assemble the wheels and the such. But I'll be going over that with you in this video. Here we have our bag with more detailed instruction manual, some tools, some bolts and screws to do the assembly. The generator itself covered in plastic. On this side we have a box to be removed. We'll get a knife and open that up to see what's inside. So it looks like it's our transport handle, our front rubber isolating feet, so when it's sitting on the ground, anti-vibration, and our wheels. They're plastic, but they look pretty sturdy. We're not going to be going down the highway with these, so we don't have to worry too much. We have our funnel, some more nuts and bolts. Let's take a look at this cover. It is in fact a waterproof cover. Pretty thick, soft padding on the inside to protect the finish of the generator. some drawstrings to secure it and tighten it around the base so it doesn't fly off. And we have our oil bottle. Now, definitely it comes with oil. Whether or not I use this particular oil will be the question, right? We got to think of the climates we're going to be running in. I'm in Canada, so it gets very cold. It doesn't get very hot, but it gets very cold in the winter. So depending on the grade of oil that it comes with, in this case, it's a 10W30. Looks like a regular dyno oil, not synthetic. So I will probably not be using this, and I'll be putting a full synthetic 5W30 into the motor in order to be able to operate at much lower operating temperatures. I'll put up here on the screen from the manual the oil recommendations from the manufacturer. So as the unit's very heavy, I'm not going to try to be a He-Man and lift this vertically out of the box. Let's work smart and safe. Take our utility knife and we'll score down the corners of the box and open it up. And with the box opened up, we can take the plastic off of the generator. And we'll slide it out of the box. On either side, there's some styrofoam to protect it. That could be discarded. As well, there's a piece of styrofoam on the bottom that we'll remove after. Let's take a closer look around the unit. Here we have some labeling to let us know about our bottle opener, which resides right up here beside the pull string. Labeling for our pull string. Up top, we have our gas cap indicating our 5-gallon reservoir, as well as they really want to make sure we remove those shipping bolts coming around the front of the unit. We have our hour meter. We have an on-off switch. Here we have a 30 amp plug, so for those you use with RVs. And we have 2 of them with different connector styles. So 30 amp RV and a standard 30 amp. And then here, if I could open it, we have our regular 110 20 amp indicated by the horizontal slot for residential. Coming around this side, there's not much to see, just the side of the equipment. And around the back, more closely up top, as I stated, our gas cap here, it does state 87 octane minimum, no E15 or E85 ethanol. It is attached with a chain. Inside, we do have that small filter. And we have a fuel gauge as well. So here we have full, so a red bar will come over, and as it comes empty, that'll be indicated there. On the front panel, we also have starting instructions that I will go over when we do start it up. So as I stated, there are some transport fasteners that need to be removed before we start this up. According to the manufacturer, what they want us to do is definitely have some cardboard on the ground to protect the finish of the machine. And we're going to be tilting it up on its side. So the side we're going to be bringing up is the side with the electrical connections or plug connections. So what you could do is get your cardboard ready, grab your handle, remember lift with your knees, drag it back, and then tilt up as such. Here we can get a better view of those transport brackets. It's basically an L bracket that's locking the engine in and protecting the engine mounts. It's not allowing the engine to move during transport. Now, the manufacturer sends us a nice little toolkit. It comes in a nice little sealed package with a button clip on top. And inside, we have a metal bar. We'll find out what that's for. It comes with 2 wrenches that we're going to need for various operations. A 12 millimeter, 10 millimeter split. So 10 millimeter on one side, 12 on the other. And we have 2 of them. And now I know what the bar is for. It comes with a, in my opinion, a very cheap spark plug remover. Let's go ahead and remove those brackets. We'll take our wrench. We have, like I said, 10 millimeter on one side, 12 on the other. From the looks of it, 10 millimeter. Let's try it. And yes, it's 10 millimeter. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. Remember, counterclockwise. On the back side is a nut. I'm assuming that's why they supply us with 2 wrenches, but you don't really need to secure the nut on the back. It loosens just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and remove now the rest of the fasteners. Now it's time to put our wheels on. On this side of the unit, on both sides, we have a bracket here with a hole through it. That's where the wheels are going to go. So for each side, we have our wheel as well as our axle. To give you a closer view, here's the axle. Remove the cotter pin. Remove the washer. You're going to take your wheel, this side facing out, but it's pretty apparent. We're going to lift the unit with our hand and then slide the axle through. If it's too heavy for you, definitely get someone to help. So we'll put the wheel in place, lift the unit, axle slid through. Here's a close-up view of the backside. Here we can see our axle coming through that support. We're going to put the washer. We're then going to take our cotter pin, locate the hole in the axle, and push it in until it clicks. And that's it. Now we're going to repeat on the other side. With the wheels on, the next step is going to be putting on the other side, we have the feet, the isolating feet. So we're going to tilt the machine up again. To attach the support, the feet, you have your bracket or your 2 rubber isolating pads. For this part, we're going to be using the smaller bolt and nut that come with the kit. If we look on the bottom support here, it's these 2 holes that are going to receive those that also line up with here. So once again, we could use the wrenches that come with the kit. To put this on, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to put the bolt from the bottom up, and the nut will go on the inside. For the attachment of the handle, we have the handle itself that is on a pivoting joint. It can only go one way in order for the handle to come up. The fasteners are the remaining fasteners, which are the longer ones. And the way we're going to put that in is as follows. You will take your handle, slide it over, line up the holes, drop the bolt through, and then fasten on the bottom with the nut. With the handle on, I'll give you a little demonstration. We lift up, it locks into a horizontal plane. We continue lifting to lift up the unit, and we can then roll the unit to wherever we need to put it. So now we're ready to put some oil in it. So we're going to locate the oil fill, which is also your oil dipstick, which is on the front of the unit underneath. You could go ahead and unscrew that. And here you could see your dipstick. Now, when filling, we're going to be keeping the oil level between these 2 marks within the hash of the dipstick. And we could use a supplied funnel, which is a nice long one, which, trust me, is needed for this unit as the oil fill sits quite far back and down low. So I'm going to go ahead now and put the oil in. Now we're going to be putting our fuel inside. So we'll put the gas in, we'll take our gas lid off, and we'll get our jerry can and we'll start putting some fuel inside. I went ahead and put a 1/4 tank of fuel in. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like on the fuel gauge. You can see there's a red slider that comes over as you fill it, coming over to full and decreases as we empty. Before we're able to start it, there's 2 things we need to do. We have a fuel valve here that needs to be opened. There is a diagram up here showing you what needs to be done to open it. So in the horizontal plane, we have no fuel flowing to the carburetor. As we turn it to the vertical plane, fuel is allowed to flow. The second thing we need to do before we could start it, we have our choke. It's a manual choke. So here you have a little diagram that's going to show you what the settings are. So you have a start, which is basically your choke is on. And then once you get it running, you could turn the choke off. Anyone who has small equipment is used to this procedure. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up the tripod and we're going to see how long it takes on a cold start, first start ever on this machine. Well, maybe started once at the factory, to see how long it takes to get started. Almost missed this step. Third part to starting it, make sure it's in the on position. Well, there you have it, guys. That was the unboxing, the setting up, and the first start of this Firman generator. First impressions, started up on the first pull, so that's always good. I really like the styling. The gas tank has a nice like powder coated finish to it, which I do like. In terms of functionality, as you saw, we do have multiple outlets for different power usages, so I do like that. Overall, I mean, until I really start using the unit in a real world application, which trust me, I'm going to be putting it through its tests even before I need to in an emergency, just to make sure it's going to do what I need it to do. But first impressions, I am happy with this at the price point, and I think it's going to serve me well. It doesn't take up a big footprint, so it's going to store easily in the garage and be out of the way. So I hope you liked the video, guys. If there's anything I missed, or if you have any questions regarding this unit, or if you'd like to see maybe a little more detail, reach out to me in the comments, or you could send me an email. My email is in the video description, and I do respond to my emails as well. My Instagram channel, you could go on my Instagram and send me a direct message. I respond to everyone, so if you have any questions or you'd like to see maybe something explained a little more in detail, I'd be happy to do that for you. So thanks for watching.